Hello and welcome to your Monday Sports Extra from Mustard News. As you can see, we're out of the studio today. We're here at Trafford Park, home of Wroxham Football Club, where they've got a lot of new things going on. They've got themselves a new chairman, a new director of football and 2 joint managers. We're going to be hearing from them later on in the show. But first up, here is a recap of the weekend's action and the Canaries' latest.
Thanks, Jake. Let's start with Norwich City, shall we? It was confirmed at the start of the weekend that Alan Irvine was leaving the club to pursue the opportunity of returning to management. Clearly, he caught the bug again while he was in caretaker charge at Carrow Road. City seem likely to take their time finding a replacement, and in the meantime, they have Dean Kiley to call on, while Frankie McAvoy seems set to stay on at the club in a revised role. In terms of transfers, Poland under-21 international and Arsenal centre-back Christian Bielik has said he is close to joining Norwich City on a season's loan from the Emirates, although as far as I know, the 2 clubs are yet to have agreed on the deal. And Graham Dorrans could be edging closer to the exit door. Reports in Scotland have Rangers bidding £1.3 million for City's Scottish midfielder, although suggestions that move could be completed inside the next 48 hours are, I believe, a little more wide of the mark. But the big discussion today has been the speculation that City are willing to listen to offers for last season's top scorer, Cameron Jerome. Now, that shouldn't really be a surprise, given City have got a lot of rebuilding they want to do and are likely to listen to any offer they get through the door, regardless of the player. Still, it's kicked off the debate over whether Jerome should be one of those to make way for the recruitment plans of head coach Daniel Farke and sporting director Stuart Webber. Jacob Murphy departed with England for this month's European Under-21 Championships in Poland with a brace to his name in their final behind-closed-doors friendly versus Iceland at St George's Park. Both Russell Martin and Stephen Naismith were unused substitutes for Scotland as they drew their World Cup qualifier with England at Hampden Park. And Wes Hoolahan's 40th Ireland cap came as a 71st minute substitute in their World Cup qualifying draw at home to Austria, although a fair few Republic fans have questioned why Martin O'Neill opted to start without his primary playmaker. Elsewhere, the weekend's big hero was, of course, Cantley's Alfie Hewitt. The 19-year-old former City College student became French Open wheelchair singles champion at Roland Garros, beating Gustavo Fernandez Love 6, 7-6, 6-2, saving 3 match points in the process. He was also runner-up in the men's doubles alongside Gordon Reid. And in the weekend's cricket, former Essex batsman Jake Mickleborough condemned Swordston to their first defeat of the Gibbs Denley East Anglian Premier League season. I will now hand you back to Jake over at Wroxham.
Okay then, so as I said, we are here at Trafford Park today, the home of Wroxham Football Club. We're in the boardroom and I'm joined now by Kevin Lawn. You are Director of Football Operations?
Director of Football and Operations Manager, yeah.
And you've just been here a few weeks now. Talk us through the job role and why it is you've come to Wroxham, because it's a big job to be done here, isn't it?
It is.
For a couple of kind of tough years.
It's a massive job. It's probably fair to say I've been here now about 4 or 5 weeks at the football club, and when I come in, and currently the club is probably not in its best position it's been over sort of like the last 10-15 years. Probably fair to say that the club's been on its knees for a few years, been struggling with relegation, which is good for me because I probably wouldn't have this opportunity to be here. So I've been here 4 or 5 weeks, but it feels like probably 4 years, to be honest, with the work that's gone behind the scenes and what we're doing. Everybody's now beginning to see what we're trying to achieve.
And you've spoken earlier that, you know, part of your big role here is a potential move for Wroxham and developing the club away from Trafford Park, but also a new person at the club is a chairman who you're going to be working closely alongside. He's an interesting character, isn't he? I've been reading about him today. He's a chap called Lee. He's come over from Wales. Yeah. He's had some success at non-league local football before, isn't he?
He has. Unbelievable his story, really. I met Lee about 2 or 3 weeks ago when we put an ad on the media, really, for a chairman. And he obviously replied. I met him for coffee. We spent 3 or 4 hours together, really enjoyed his company. And I was really excited when he said yes, he'll come to the football club. He's at Monmouth, I think it was 10 years, and he built them up basically from a village football team to be on the verge of Europe. You know,
that's some going, isn't it?
It is.
I feel like more people should know that, and now he's here at Wroxham, which is a real coup for you guys.
He's a passionate guy. I'm not quite sure how the club in Norfolk's going to take to him. You know, he's full on, and I think that'd be brilliant for the football club. It's probably just what we need.
Yeah. as I say, there are lots of new things happening here. I'm going to go speak to the chaps in a minute. We've got Ross Potter and Tom Park, Toasty, as your new joint managers. I suppose it's probably easier to ask you this question as opposed to them. Why joint managers? 'Cause that's quite a rare thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I've known Tom for about 10, 11 years now. We set up Personal Best together with a lovely guy called Lee Perry. So this has been our vision probably for a long time now, and it's a great opportunity to finish what we started many years ago. And we all believe in kind of giving youth an opportunity. We're heavily invested in the youth here at Wroxham. We're trying to bring a lot of the best young lads in the county here and mix that with good experienced lads, and we're trying to achieve something special here. I think we do. There's a lot of people now getting behind it. It's got momentum. So we're really excited about next season and what we're trying to achieve. The new ground, it's something that's been in kind of the pipeline for a few years. There's a guy here, Chris Green, who's been at the club for a lot of years, and he started something a few years ago that I've probably picked up the baton. We're currently in the process of discussing it with planners, various people at the FA, etc. So everybody seems to be behind it. It's an exciting project, but we're looking to relocate, and we're hoping within the next 5 years we'll be able to build a new stadium, provide new facilities. We're looking at probably classrooms as well for the academy. So we're looking to create a community hub, and we're looking to put a smile back on the face of Wroxham and try and get people back through the gates, and give something to look forward to and play football in the right way.
Super stuff. Well, Kev, I'm going to go meet your two new managers. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Right then, chaps, I've just been speaking to Kev through there. He speaks very highly of you both. Tom, I know your history. You just come over from Dessa, over in Dereham, and Ross, you've come over from Dis after a couple of years there. The reasons why you've moved over here to Wroxham, apart from the fact, obviously, you see it as a bigger club, I presume. Yeah,
well, not necessarily a bigger club. I think the infrastructure, at Dis is good. I just, like I've said in the press, it's a good move to the third and non-prem. Obviously, there's a lot of aspirations here to go higher as well. I'm a young manager, and I share those aspirations. So maybe I got a little bit impatient of a couple of goes at getting out of Division 1. But a massive pull for me was to work with Tom again. We worked together at Dereham Under-18s and at Norfolk Under-18s, and that was a massive pull for me. I wanted to work with him again.
Well, you've been working around this non-league local scene for years now. Everyone knows Tom Park. No, were you not heading over to Dis to be Ross's assistant before this, potentially before this job came over? So I want to know the dynamic, how this works, because there's not many joint managers, is there? So how's it going to work? Is it going to be a good cop, bad cop, or how's it going to work for you boys?
I think that regardless of any management team, you need a set of skills across your staff to manage people, and I think our skills really complement each other. That we can cover those skills. So what I maybe lack, he has, and what he lacks.
What do you lack in Toast?
Well, I'm multi-talented. No. I think that, let's be honest with you, I'm a young manager. I've just done my A licence, so people would associate me more with managing youth teams and coaching adults rather than managing adults. So, in terms of dealing with budgets and having big conversations with older players than me, because I'm still obviously young despite the grey hair. I think that would be labelled at me. So I need to learn that side of the game. And obviously Ross here has been managing since early 20s. Yeah, obviously you're still in your prime.
But Wroxham for the last couple of years, it's been tough, hasn't it? There's no lie about it. It's been tough for Wroxham. And you're saying you're going to have to go perhaps a different approach this year. You're looking at maybe younger players from the region. I know you just had a particularly exciting maybe young lad you were just signing a couple of hours ago. Ross, do you want to kind of tell us about that and the direction maybe you want to take it this year?
Yeah, well, I think obviously we're young managers. We want to form that young squad. We want to play a certain brand of football. We want it to be sustainable. So obviously we've gone out there and looked for the younger players that we need. We're not going to sign a completely young team, because at the end of the day, when you're going to compete in the third and non-prem, you need to be able to compete physically on certain conditions, certain pitches, and those players need to be looked after so they can express themselves. But certainly we will have players of potential, huge potential, one of which has signed 10, 15 minutes ago.
Who was that?
It's Tom Matthews.
What, he was playing QPR, was he not?
Yeah, he was a youth team player. So he's a local lad. He's been a youth team player at the Norwich Academy, and then he joined QPR. He was captain for the youth team against Manchester United in the FA Youth Cup, marking Rashford, and which they lost in extra time. So which is a great experience for him. He's been in Wales playing for TNS, played in the Champions League qualifier as well, which is a great experience for a young lad. And for whatever reason, he's come back home and he's picked us. Which is amazing. Yeah. I've obviously worked with him when he was really young, before he was in the academy. So there's a little bit of history there. But for us to secure that, sort of highlights the vision that we want to try.
Yeah, it's exciting times. I can tell. Obviously, you're both very, very excited about this new job for the pair of you. And as you said, you're looking for a mix of youth and experience. I'm recently out of contract myself. Play centre half. Do a job.
Well,
wide
on that, I mean, as Ross pointed out, we thought about offering you a contract, and then we looked at the most viewed video on Mustard this year, which I think was the one where I might have nutmegged you.
Thank you very much,
of it.
Tom. So that's enough from you. So I'm afraid that is all we've got time for on Sports Extra tonight. I knew you were going to try that. Not happening. We'll be back on Friday at the usual times. Until then, good night.